Mark said, how long have you been in financial services and how long have you been with Nationwide? I've been with Nationwide all my career since I was 16. I joined Nationwide straight from school at 16, so 30 years in Nationwide. And it's quite unusual, I think, to be in one organisation for all of your career. But I'm incredibly proud of that. And hopefully today I'll give you a sense of why I've stayed with Nationwide for 30 years. What is it that really connects with me in terms of my values and beliefs that's helped me feel true to an organisation during all of that period? I was a First Direct customer. I was one of the very first people who opened a current account with First Direct before Nationwide had current accounts. So it was good to hear from Mark about some of his experiences there. And a cracking company, really good brand. So if you don't know much about Nationwide, I'll do a little bit of an introduction about Nationwide, and then I'll talk about customer experience from my perspective, both as Nationwide and then what it means in my bit of Nationwide and how we bring that to life. So if you don't know us, Nationwide, world's largest building society, really proud to say that. UK's largest mutual, and mutuality is a core part of the brand, but also the inherent DNA of our business. And that not being a PLC and therefore being there just for our customers is what we talk a lot about in Nationwide. It's core to the provision of service to what we do, and we talk customer, customer, customer in that respect. 15 million members. Probably 1 in 5 of the UK population deal with us, 16,000 employees, 700 branches, call centres, internet. We're about 200 billion size of organisation. So I guess, we're alongside all of the other core players in the marketplace from a financial services point of view. What do we do? Well, the full range of services in personal financial services, so mortgages, savings, banking, GI, etc., etc. So we look to provide all of those needs for customers. We have had a history where looking after our customers has been, all we're about, and we try to use that to drive innovation. And we've done some things that have been first to markets, and ensuring therefore things like, interest-paying current accounts back in the day when we launched it, was the first in the marketplace. First with a Visa Delta card. Retail internet banking we were the first people in the marketplace with that. Recently we've done things like championing ATM costs and making sure that they're free for cash withdrawals. Things like the experience of a customer filling out a form and making sure we make forms simple to understand for customers in terms of things like terms and conditions, order of payments on credit cards. These things to us are about how do we deliver services that really do make banking with us as simple as possible. That flows through into the internals of the organisation as well. We've been, invested in people accredited for quite some time. Of the 60,000 plus accredited organisations, we're one of only less than 0.5% that have got gold status. And it's about how do we think internally about getting our proposition understood by all of our employees, and then how do we invest in them and give them the capabilities to be the best that they can possibly be, and making sure that's part of the lifeblood of the organisation. It flows through as well in terms of the support we provide to the communities in which we work. So things like Community Mark, which is the only really recognised accreditation for things you do in the community we're a member of, etc. When you think about culture for me, and I've said that the DNA of the business is really core about customer. Internally, and I'm sure many of you do this, we created, if you like, our own way of describing this. Because having been here a long time at Nationwide, there's something about it that you just buy into. And I could never put my finger on it, what it was, and we'd never really described it. So this, Pride, our acronym internally, was our way of saying, actually, this is what we're about. These are the behaviours and the attitudes that we expect of every single one of us, and that we should hold true to the way that we operate, that should be true to how we recruit people, that should be the things that absolutely we put at the forefront of what we're about as a business. So things like putting members first, the first thing there, looking after the customer, it's the heart of what we do as a mutual. Rewarding relationships means, for every customer that we deal with, if they do more with us, we'll give them more back. So how can we ensure, therefore, that we're building those relationships in a way that's mutually beneficial? Inspiring trust, and especially in the marketplace we've seen of late, it's been a tough marketplace, and building trust and recreating brand in financial services is really critical. We think we've been in a good place in that respect, and it's carried us through some of the tough times. When going through the banking crisis, the FSA described Nationwide as having a good crisis, if you can have such a thing. But I think it's driven off things like brand and the surety and the confidence in which how we operate our organisation. Delivering great service and exceeding expectations. You know, these are the things that are the lifeblood of how we operate, and the things that have kept me at Nationwide for all my career. Because I look at these things, and they're not just words, they're not just things on a piece of paper, they're things that I absolutely aspire to and buy into, and they're part of my belief system. And I think that's the thing that I see. When customers deal with us, I think they would see that in the way, the lifeblood of how they experience service with us. When suppliers come into Nationwide, this is our head office in Swindon, you know, when suppliers come in, they say, there's something different about this place. What is it? What's different? And what's that buzz? What's that energy, that environment? And so therefore, pride is our internal way of expressing that. One of the things that we challenged them with in that respect was, how do we then explain that to customers and non-customers? Because it's okay feeling that internally, but how do you make sure that you externalise that stuff? We had proud to be different as our strapline, if you like, and that was purposeful because we needed to help people external to Nationwide really understand that there was a difference. So being a mutual, not being a PLC, there is something that's different about Nationwide, and therefore we can only focus on our customers, we only look after your needs. And we used that for quite a few years, and it was successful in building that understanding that there's difference. We recently changed it, though, to on your side, because having expressed that there's a difference, we needed to bring to life for customers what is that difference. And actually on your side, only looking after your needs, doing things that are for the betterment of you and how you deal with Nationwide, absolutely core to what we're about as a business. You know, and these are some of the things that we say, therefore, to our customers. Absolutely making them better off. You know, especially in the current climate with interest rates so low, how can we look after your needs and therefore have conversations with you about how we can help you? Obvious stuff, this, not rocket science. I'm not expecting any light bulb moments here, but you know, these are things that are absolutely core to what we're about as a business. And I said earlier, it's not stuff we just write on a piece of paper. These are embedded in the way we operate, and it's what we try to express, therefore, to our customers. How do I bring that to life? Well, you know, it's okay having stuff written down, but are you delivering on that day to day? So these are some of the things that we do to try and ensure that our customers understand what On Your Side is all about. So we've had some first-time buyer facilities. You know, your first time in the market, in getting on the property ladder can be a tough thing. So we help first-time buyers understand what mortgages are, a bit of education, help understanding. We've got specific products for them. Things that help them save for a deposit to get their first step on the ladder in the mortgage market. Our savers, we have some savings promises. I think if as a customer, as a saver, one of the things that we found was that a lot of our customers said, as an existing customer, one of the things that really hacks us off is in PLC land, we see others offering rates and services to attract new customers, but what about the existing customers? So we've got a set of 7 promises. One of those promises is we will never offer things that are just for new customers. You know, if it's good enough for new customers, it's good enough for existing customers. Things like if you've got an ISA and you want to transfer it to us, you've got an ISA with another provider and you want to transfer it to us, we will pay you interest from the day you sign the application form, not from the day we receive funds, so you can have confidence. So we try and make these things really live and breathe and bring to life for our customers that there is a difference about On Your Side. And we do it through a range of things. Our Flexclusives is to do with our current account, and therefore we offer that thing about rewarding relationships. So we provide additional benefits for customers who've got our current accounts. It also flows through, as we said earlier, about corporate responsibility. We really believe in investing in the communities in which we operate. So we've got a very active responsibility in that respect. And Clear Blue Water is, if you like, our internal stuff. Pride is our description of our attitudes and behaviours, but Clear Blue Water is our internal programme that says, how do we do this stuff every day? How do we give a focus to every part of the business about what are we doing to be on your side? So all the business areas work to this programme and say, these are the things that we're looking to do to make better service for our customers. So that's nationwide and the sort of things that we're about in the DNA of the organisation. I've got a part of the organisation called Customer Operations, about 2,500 people. We look after what I call back office processing, but I hate using that term because it's got a sort of derogatory sense to it. If you think about all of our guys in the branch network, on the telephones, etc., they'll deal with our customers. That will then result in something needed to be processed. We do all that processing for our customers, and that's across the product range. We provide those services for each and every one of those customers. And it will typically be in the order of 7 million transactions per year, probably in the order of 90 million pieces of mail per year, 1 billion payments. So it's really core to the lifeblood of the organisation. Within our team, we talk about 3 things that we want to do. Interestingly, the first thing is about customer centricity. I said I don't like talking about us as though we're a back office. I think there is inevitability, though, in creating a processing function that people use language such as a factory, and that we'll use that to drive efficiency and we'll create scale. Now, the problem I see in that is that actually it drives a mentality that isn't about customer. It drives things about widgets and moving pieces of paper. So what I'm really absolutely essential in the thinking of our team is that there's customers here and that everything we do is for a customer. Even if you're not talking to a customer, there's a customer on the end of this. So think of it as though it's your mum. Make sure that in everything you're doing, you're really trying to provide a great service for them. I think you have to build that culture as well and then nurture it. So some of my guys said to me when I joined this area, well, you say customer centricity and do what's right for the customer, but then you have this workflow management stuff, workforce management, and you measure us on things. And that might say that you've got, 2 minutes to do this thing over here, and there might be a problem with it. Well, what would be the right thing to do would be to pick up the phone and speak to the customer and say, we've got a problem with this thing that you sent to us, how do we sort it out? But actually, your workforce management doesn't support that. What it says is actually send a letter back to the customer because then it's within the 2 minutes. So you have to challenge yourself about, well, actually, do we create the environment that's right for customer centricity? So are we ensuring that everything we do has got the customer at the front of mind? And that's been one of the things that we've been trying to do in our area in thinking about the core about customer service for our business area. A high-performance culture, can't do any of this without people. Our teams are the most valuable asset that we've got. So have they got the learning and development that's needed for them to be the best they can be and nurture their own capabilities? Have they got the tools that they need to be the best at providing operational services? So we've put a lot of investment into these things. I was quite amused when I came in this morning. I didn't realise all the sponsors and things that were here today. And we use EG, and we use Matsoft, and a range of other services. Because to me, that's about creating a professional operations environment where our teams know that they've got the things that they need to be the best that they can be. And then efficient and scalable operations, well, isn't that what running a process is all about? So we've invested a lot in professionalising our teams, thinking about being in the customer's shoes all the time in everything you do. Don't become a slave to process. Ask yourself what's right for your customer. Service levels are an interesting one for me. I think at times we've fallen into that mentality about how do we create a service level that we think is right for us, for our capability. Actually, forget that. What's right for the customer? What would their expectation be? How would they want to do business with us? And if they're going through a process, what would be right for them? So we're rethinking all of our service levels from a customer perspective, and also in that, right the way end to end. In a big organisation, there's a risk that you get into silos and you think about your bit and only your bit. So we're trying to work right the way across the organisation to think from right the way from the marketing proposition through to the execution of that in our branches or online or on the telephone, through to processing, etc., etc. What would that end-to-end feel like for a customer? And how can we all the time improve that proposition? So we've spent a lot of time and effort, and we've put hard cash behind it in the transformation of our division. The organisation really believes in the transformation of itself as an ongoing activity. You need to consistently reinvent yourself. So we're investing about £1 billion within the organisation to ensure that we're set up to be the best that we can be for our customers. And therefore, we're seeing improvement in the service quality that we provide for our customers. Our feedback from customers has shown a northerly trajectory. ISA, I talk about ISA season. 2 years ago, we didn't have a particularly good ISA season. Our customers, I think, we let down. We put a lot of effort into, actually, that's not acceptable for a business that's customer-centric. And we used the learning from that and how do we reinvent ourselves. And we had a really good season last year. We're now applying that across the rest of what we do. People will often say to me, well, it's going to cost you more, isn't it, to provide great service? Well, absolutely the opposite. The better the service, the lower the cost. Because you don't get those errors, you don't get rework, you don't get customer complaints. So it's right and proper to put effort and time into providing a great quality of service. And as an organisation, these things are coming true. So FRS, one of the surveys that is looked at in terms of overall customer satisfaction, we do particularly well in. Our complaint volumes are absolutely bottom of the sector. Service tracker is an internal measure, so every day in our branches, our call centres, telephony and online, we look at the quality of service our customers tell us about, and then we do stuff with it. We know with things like the Financial Ombudsman Scheme, again, our complaint levels that are upheld are at the lowest in the industry. And lots of awards that flow from that in terms of customer-based experience. And ensuring, therefore, that that end-to-end experience is the best it can be. It's absolutely embedded in what we're about. So I think, what I'd say is that, it being the culture of the organisation is the thing I'd say to you more than anything else. You can have smart technology, you can have smart processes, but if you don't believe it, it's not going to really come to life. And I think that's the thing that I feel in Nationwide. It's the thing that's kept me here for 30 years, is that we believe it. It's part of our attitudes and behaviours. It's in the DNA. And I think if it's in the DNA and you nurture it and you value it and you really look after that culture, you can go to where your customers expect. Thank you.